Okay. So last week we are on 10th chakra and we did read about the conditions experienced at the 10th chakra. And now, and also we read about this belongingness, the intimacy with the absolute, how the ego sublimates. And then, so we are moving towards this, the state of absolute, right? And then today, we're going to read on this topic, reverence for the self. This is something, very, this topic can go deep, but let's see how we can understand this topic. Like I was showing this diagram, when a sun shines on a droplet in a fountain, emerging from a fountain, it creates a rainbow. Even the rain, droplets create rainbow. But the sun is not shining to create a rainbow. So this whole causation, if we have to understand, for every event to occur or for anything to occur or for any manifestation, any existence, we are looking at cause. There is a cause and effect, right? And this was the cause, this is the effect. The water droplet reflected the sun and some phenomena in that droplet emerged the rainbow, manifested the rainbow. But when you look at the sun is not the cause for the rainbow. So the causation begins much after, much later than uh, the the godly realm. So why this concept is very important to understand is because otherwise you don't understand what this self means. Okay. So let me kind of again repeat the cause and effect, right? The cause and effect is only within the realm of the manifestation. The events within that manifestation, within the realm of the worldly existence, you can call it, within the existence. But when it comes to an absolute, there is no causation. There is no cause for this absolute or God to exist. That's why you cannot say God exists, you cannot say God do not exist because he's beyond existence. And we are, because we are conditioned for tangible things. Everything has to be tangible. And we always perceived this concept of God from a very lower spectrum of consciousness. So that's why it has to be very tangible to the mind. It has to have a name. It has to have a form. And all these things we kind of attributed from a human existence. But when this consciousness is taken to the higher and higher realms, the tangible physical existence of the God diminishes. Now, then we are moving towards the absolute. This absolute has no causation. This absolute is not a thing, is not an entity. See, like whatever appears in consciousness is something lower than the consciousness itself. Whatever can come to grips of the mind is something lower than the mind itself. You see? So, when we talk about the deeper states of meditation, it is not because you are doing meditation. Because once in the absolute state, there is no causation. Now, when it is no, so understand this, okay? In absolute state, when there is no causation, your experience of that absolute cannot be because, okay? It happens. It's a phenomena. It takes place. And all that we need is to jump into that higher state. Because at a lower state, everything is subjected to causation. At a higher state, at an absolute state, there is no because. Oh, because I'm devoted, I'm a big devout, and or I practice heartfulness ardently without any gaps. I perfectly follow all the prescription. All these things diminish at this state. All year projections, mental projections diminish. See, I'll tell you, every experience people talk about is only a mental projection. Oh, I saw Babuji today in my meditation, and Babuji spoke to me. Lalaji spoke to me. This guy spoke to me. That guy spoke to me. You see, all these are mental projections. And some people even talk about their near and dear old people pass away. Oh, they came to me along with Chariji, and Chariji said about this there to them. You hear this from so many people, I'm telling you. These are all mental projections. A spiritual condition is not so tangible. A spiritual, any experience like in spiritual states should leave a condition on you. If it is not leaving a condition, it is just mere ego satisfaction. It is just a projection. Projection of your own lower mind, nothing else. Okay. So when we go into absolute, there is no, it's only a condition. Okay. So we have to understand what this condition really means. So a sthiti means on that which you are standing on, means the state where you are in. Sthita, it's a seat where your consciousness is. So it basically explains that the conscious spectrum, depending on where you are from, your projections are changing. If you go into an absolute, there are no projections because the absolute doesn't allow any states, any conditions. It is absolute. It's almost, you can, because lack of better words, we are saying zero, but it cannot be zero. When such a state is experienced, we will also recognize that that absolute has been always has been there. And we also realize that that was my true identity. All the identities which I have formed other than absolute are our own mere illusions, projections. Okay. So anything I think about myself other than absolute is a projection. So with that introduction, let's get into the topic. Any questions, comments thus far? Okay. So in such a state, the reverence for the absolute is the reverence for the self. Why? Because the absolute is in you. In Astavakra Gita, the Astavakra says, I salute to myself. It's indicating that you are that absolute. Okay. So why? Because the absolute is in you. And you realize this irrefutably. The space outside and the space inside were an illusion created by the walls of the ego. The walls are taken down. The outside and inside become one. As the ego dissolves, you feel the oneness all around and within you. The metaphorical separation between you and the absolute is disappeared. You see the world through the eyes of the absolute. When you peak, you feel it's the absolute speaking through you. When in the past, to enjoy the fragrance of roses, you walked all the way to the garden. Now the scent of the roses is always with you. For this reason, you treat the body as a sacred place. You take care of the body as the abode of absolute. You refrain from any acts that would diminish the sanctity of your body, mind, and soul, aware of the communion you now have with the absolute. See, because any condition which is bringing you down from that absolute, now you cannot accept it, you cannot bear it. So that's why everything conducive to maintain that state, you will do it. You see, the everything is driven by the need. So that inner need is not there, you cannot be a devout. But then what is the devotion I'm showing today? It is all superficial. Because the devotion I'm showing today is for my well-being. What is my well-being? I should have enough money, I should have enough health, and I should have enough intelligence to squander around. Okay. Then if I have all these, then I suddenly turn into an atheist. Oh, I am the best. And if the things are not going the right way, then I am a devout. God help me. So this is all very transactional idea of God. Okay. But here in the state of absolute, there is no transaction. Now you are at this causeless state. In a causeless state, there is no transaction. You are. That's it. God is. That's it. There's no transaction. There's nothing to ask, nothing to get. Just getting absorbed, going deep into that abyss, and, you know, cherishing in the state of, absolute bliss. You're moving along. So everything around you appears the same. Inside you, outside you. So there is no inside you and outside you. It's not like I'm always, this is, and now I cannot say I'm going within because that barrier is broken now. There is no in, there is no out. So that's why these states have been, have to be experienced. No words can explain, give you the real state of this. Okay.
Other?
Yes.
Um, I have a question. I guess it's supposed to be an obvious answer, but when you talk about this, I guess reaching to this point, you're also saying that we can, we have the ability to attain this while at the same time, living our everyday lives, going to work, dealing with family. We can actually attain that and be dealing with this world.
Yes. So, I mean, I understand it this way, right? The when we say we are dealing with something, right? We are always dealing from our state of consciousness, whatever that state is. And accordingly, we are reacting to the world, depending on my state of consciousness. The world is fine, but our reaction to the world is based on what we think the world is. So it is our projection of the world we are dealing with. So that's why I gave this word projection. We are dealing with our projection of the world. We are not really dealing with the world. So when these projections drop, now the way you interact with the world also changes. There is what is this guy, the director who suddenly I forgot the name, the Bruce Springsteen, or like he had a big mansion in LA, and then he interviewed the most successful people, and he asked about their worldview. And to the surprise, everyone said the world is filled with all positiveness. All is great with the world. There is nothing wrong with the world. Everyone pretty much said the same thing. So then he realized that there is, all this is in my illusion. And then he gives up all his mansions, and he goes and lives in the woods, and he builds a small place. And he says, I'm absolutely fine. But this is at a very, material plane. But you see, what the world is what you think. But is it what the really world is? You don't know. So what you are dealing with is your world, not the world, not the world. Okay. So as our consciousness is evolving, even my worldview is changing, and the way I deal with it is also changing. But see, like it says here, when it is saying you refrain from any acts that would diminish sanctity of your body mind. So here, sanctity of your body is not referring to your body, your physical body. It's referring to the world you are in. So everything around you is also sanctifying. Your projection of the world is also sanctifying. Okay. So that's why it's completely a different world you deal with when we reach this absolute, because now the world has changed for you. Make
So
sense?
when you shift, yeah, when you're saying when you shift over, when you can get to this point, well,
Yeah,
then actually your perception of the world shifts with you.
correct.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah. So that's why the spirituality brings changes in you, because your world is changing for you. Your reaction to the world, everything around you is changing. So belongingness matures into sameness. There is an old wives' tale that couple who age together start resembling each other. While that tale, like many others, is debatable. What isn't debatable is that by the time you arrive at the 10th chakra, you have spent years loving, revering, thinking, feeling, and becoming like the Absolute. See, in our meditation, the instruction, we start our meditation with the Absolute. All this progress is sort of an observation, but the progress is taking place not because of your practice, it's because of your this idea of you're meditating on the absolute, you're already trying, you already began the process of that revelation in your very first meditation you started. And it is slowly, opening up for you, the revealing it for you, what that absolute is. So, what is being revealed for you is what you started in your first meditation, not because you're ardently practicing your meditation every day. It's opening up these channels. But every day you sit in your meditation, that revelation becomes evident for you. That's why you have to sit in meditation. Something new to think about. Okay. So that's why I said it's all causeless. Causeless is happening. You cannot even say it's happening. It is. That's why, these things are very difficult to put into words, but you have to allow it. So that's why this whole practice of spirituality is very easy. You don't have to, kill yourself to be in spirituality. You have to become something different than what you are to become spiritual. You don't have to leave anything. You don't have to leave your families, leave your job, leave your religion, nothing of that sort. Everything can absolutely, it has its own place and keep everything in its own place. Okay. And as you evolve, your idea of religion changes, your idea of the world changes, your idea of yourself changes, everything changes, right? So the purity and simplicity of your heart. See here, what is simple? What is being simple? You can say less complex mind and all these things, but what is simple is everything and anything which is happening around you is simply acceptable. Oh, why is this person doing this way or behaving this way? Oh, he's absolutely wrong. All these prejudices drop. So then you will see, oh, maybe, whatever that person is doing, behaving, as a maybe may have they have a reason for it. So you become more acceptable, forgiving, and move on. See how your reaction to the world is changing. So simplicity is not just, oh, I'm a very simple guy. I don't have many ambitions. That's not simplicity. Simplicity is everything around you become more and more acceptable for you. And the humility of ego and the fervent song of prayer have all created a likeness between you and the Absolute. After all, what is Absolute? It is you in the purest, simplest state. Starting at the 10th chakra, the sameness develops and it continues as you go onward in this region. The idea of a creator and the creation starts to lose its hold on you. in this Chen chakra because you don't see that separation as vividly anymore. Your gaze shifts higher and you are looking at the horizon towards the origin of the first mind. So it's a beautiful state. So next week, I think we can finish next 10th chakra next week and then move on to the 11th. So any comments, observations thus far? All right.